After years of neglect by Disney, it appears the Tron franchise is finally receiving some much-needed attention and expansion to the lore. The third film installment, Tron Ares, has finally been greenlit for filming in August of 2023, and in an effort to generate excitement for this universe, fans will be able to jump into the grid themselves in the form of the Tron Lightcycle Run roller coaster set to open at Disney World's Magic Kingdom on April 4th, 2023. In addition to these developments, this year will also see the release of another Tron entry in the form of a video game. In this video, I'd like to break down all we know about Tron Identity and discuss the plot and setting for this brand new visual novel. Video games have always been a major part of the Tron franchise. They have consistently been incorporated into the growing story, allowing for a sense of progression of the universe as fans get the chance to interact with the digital world. When the original Tron film was released in 1982, an arcade tie-in was launched shortly after. Since then, multiple games were developed, the most recent having been released in 2010. Tron Evolution was a third-person action-adventure game with racing and RPG elements, and was tied closely into the sequel film Tron Legacy. Evolution served as a precursor to Legacy and was very much integrated into the existing story as it featured settings and several characters from the two previous films. In a new turn for the franchise with the development of Tron Identity, it's been confirmed that this video game story will exist separately from all of the prior Tron entries, including the newly announced Tron Ares. Tron Identity was first announced in the fall of 2022 at the Disney D23 Expo, an event intended to unveil the new projects the studio has in development. Though the film Tron Ares wouldn't be confirmed as moving forward until months later, Disney opted to briefly showcase this new Tron video game. In the 30-second trailer that was shown, an identity disc was featured slowly lighting up, backed by music reminiscent of Tron Legacy. There was very little information in this clip, apart from the fact that Bethel Games was revealed as the developer for this new chapter of the franchise. Bethel is known for titles such as Thomas Was Alone, Volume, and John Wick Hex. More information regarding this project can be found on the game's Steam page, where Identity is described as a visual novel adventure. The Steam description reads, "Something has been taken. Enter a new grid and forge alliances via visual novel gameplay, uncovering truths through identity disc puzzles. Make critical decisions and plot your own course in a world without a creator." What is especially interesting is that this expansion to the Tron universe will be in the form of a detective story, certainly an unexpected route, but intriguing nonetheless. This brief description does confirm that Tron Identity's story will not be connected to any of the on-screen media, but instead will play out on an entirely new grid that has been left to evolve on its own, with no user intervention after its creation. This is said to be a world built on unstable foundations. Supposedly, this story is set thousands of years after the events of Tron Legacy. If these are meant to be grid years, it would be a matter of at least several decades in Earth years, since time passes roughly 50 times slower in the digital world. In Identity, the player assumes the role of a detective program called Query within this new grid where an unprecedented crime has been committed. At the center of this cyber civilization stands a structure known simply as the Repository. After a break-in, Query is tasked with uncovering the truth behind what was taken and by whom. In a recent article by Gaming.net, it is revealed that the grid itself is on the precipice of collapse, and as Query, you are tasked with entering the void to figure out the whereabouts of an unknown software. You will then need to band together with those still trapped in the vicinity and delete whatever threat has emerged from the darkness. The art style featured in this new grid very much looks like the environment of Tron Legacy and Tron Uprising. When looking over the described gameplay experience, I couldn't help but be reminded of the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic games, as the few images that have been released look similar in design, particularly the conversation scenes detailing several different options for the player to choose from depending on their playstyle and how they want to interact with others based on the path they've chosen for their character. When it comes to how the story will play out based on these different choices, the Steam page reveals that although there is only one mystery, there are many endings. Therefore, your choices will determine the outcome you see, with a protagonist that lets you take the reins and doesn't corner you into just one approach. As stated by the developers, the decisions you make will actively influence the story, with a multitude of possible outcomes, good and bad, all depending on your carefully chosen words. You'll interact with a number of intriguing characters and decide whether to ally with them, spurn them, or even de-res them. The choose-your-own-adventure style seems to be a natural addition to a game described as a visual novel, and it will no doubt contribute to its replayability. As Query, you will question suspects, investigate your surroundings, and solve unique puzzles, which will apparently involve recovering the lost memories of others by defragging their identity disks. Though Tron Identity is set to premiere on Steam in 2023, as of the making of this video, there has been no official release date announcement. I'll leave a link for the game's Steam page in the description below if you'd like to learn more or add it to your wishlist. While this certainly sounds like an intriguing addition to the Tron universe, no doubt many fans would hope to see a story that was more connected to the events surrounding the films themselves. Having said that, being its own separate entity certainly allows for different storytelling freedoms and world-building opportunities. At the end of the day, I hope Tron Identity will contribute in a meaningful way that expands and enriches the fascinating lore of Tron. And with a digital world that has been running for many thousands of cycles, there's always a chance for the manifestation of new, exciting forms of digital DNA. Or, as Kevin Flynn would put it,
biodigital jazz, man.
But I'm curious to know what you think about Tron Identity. Are you interested in this crime novel approach? Or would you prefer a more action-oriented game and a plot that is more connected to the films and TV show? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Tron and other sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.